And they came up with this idea of this tournament, and again, you know, it's got a bunch of streamers, people I've met before, people I like, some poker pros and things like that. And they said, well, it's just a free entry tournament, invite only, and everyone's going to stream their point of view, and everyone is, and also they're streaming sort of commentators' view. They've got, I can't remember the two people who are streaming. I know one person is Maria Ho, who's a fantastic poker player. I think she's like the #2 winningest female poker player, something like that. It's actually pretty ridiculous. So this is like serious time over here, with some money on the line. I expect to not make it into the money, but we'll see how it goes. There's, right over here, a heart counter. They decided they're giving us all 3 lives. Basically, if we bust out, we can rebuy for free to come in back in with our starting chips of 50,000. We can do that 2 times. So we get a total of 3 lives. 3rd time we bust out, we're out of here. I'm just reading the chat in here. Oh, I'm on a table of Pyrian flags. Excellent. So I was gonna say, people I sort of know, right? Some people I know, some people I don't know. I think Jeff Gross is a professional poker player, and he's to my left, which is terrible. Really bad. I don't know a lot of the people based on their screen names and different things like that. Stream froze. Did it? So the stream is on a 4-minute delay. So unfortunately, if anything weird goes on, I won't really know for 4 minutes. Although I'm watching my own point of view over here. There we go. Now I'm just seeing myself go live right now. As a pro tip, turn on Twitch, turn on the timestamps so you can see the 4-minute delay. I will note if I ask a question or something and you just respond yes in chat, I'm not going to see it for 4 minutes later, so I'll have no idea what you're saying yes or no to. So try to be contextual with your comments and try to remind other people that there's a 4-minute delay and that they should be as contextual as possible with their comments. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to track. The tournament is about to start. Now the nerves are hitting all of a sudden. Theoretically, we're going. There we go. So we're starting. Oh, I'm starting on the button. We're starting with 50,000 chips each. Again, these are not money. These are chips. If you haven't ever seen No Limit Hold'em poker style tournament before, what happens is you have your starting chips. When you run out of chips, you're busted out of the tournament. And depending on how you finish, I'm not going to steal the blinds with this starting hand right now, especially as I'm talking, which is going to be a big part of the issue. I do have to remember these are 8 people tables. It's a little bit of a shorter number of players than I'm normally used to at the tables, so I'm gonna have to adjust things. The 3 lives thing is going to be kind of interesting. Okay, I'm actually surprised at how sort of chill everyone is over here. So theoretically, every single person on here is streaming, all on the 4-minute delay. You could look up some of their streams, you could check their point of view if you want to see different points of view of the hand. We've got an opening for 2.5 times the big blind from under the gun. If Bot Cabbage were to have called there, I might have called with the Ace-4 speculative here, but I don't think so. Here, we're gonna see. I'm gonna have to see. This is always the problem. Whenever I've considered recording or streaming poker before, I don't know how to do the commentary and pay attention. I want to give tons of commentary because that's how I stream, but I think I actually have to shut my face for a little while and mostly just focus on the poker. That's going to be a little rough, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, you can see the money available over there and how many players are in there. So it looks like we're at 43 players. There's late registration. I know a couple of people will be late. All right, I'm going to call here. People are surprisingly not being as loose as I might have expected. Now, I think everyone who's been invited, even people who aren't poker pros, at least play some poker like me. Now, I haven't really played a lot of poker in about 10 years. I used to play a lot, but for the last decade, I don't think I've played anywhere close to as much. Well, I'm in between 2 people. I've completely missed the board. This could be a standard continuation bet from Straighten here, but I still have no play in this position. One of the things I like about the 4-minute delay is it will mean that the 95% of the people who really don't know much about poker, who just yell random advice, I won't see it. It won't be an issue and it won't bother me, which is going to be excellent. Oh, no wonder for this. No entry, last place 1K. No, top 16 pay, but there's 43 people in here. There's not only one table, there are 6 tables. We're definitely not playing with that. Easy decision. What I have to start doing as well is part of the reason why I may not be able to provide as much commentary is I really have to focus on what other people do on hands I'm not involved in as well, so I can start to get an idea about playstyle. So far, the vibe is a little tighter than I expected. I thought the start of this might be a little looser because everyone's got 3 lives, and I thought that the response to that, generally speaking, you want to play opposite of what the table does. So if everyone was going to be fairly loose, I should tighten up. Although I definitely want to play very aggressive any hand that I'm in, since we do have that rebuy mechanic. But it might be a good idea to actually loosen up a little bit over here. And this is for real money. I didn't pay anything to get in here. So Party Poker is putting up $50,000 of real money for the tournament. Perrin used to be professional poker caster on TV. Yeah. What I was actually hoping for is he in here? Oh, yeah, I don't even know what his username might be. There's a former, well, the guy who was a full-time poker player turned StarCraft player, now Hearthstone player, Liquid, oh, what's his name? I was a big fan of him in StarCraft. Yeah, no backseating with 4-minute delay. Pre-revenue, sorry. Wow, this lag! So yeah, you can just keep looking at the timestamps and know sort of when I'm going to start seeing some of the messages. $12,000 is a lot of money. I mean, if I sneak into the top 16 and get $1,000, I'm not going to cry about that. Now, my odds, because I'm so rusty on poker, and because there are some legit pros in here, I think my odds of getting to the top 16 are probably less than 16 and 43. Okay, King 10 suited, not a fantastic hand, but okay, well, I'm not going to do any sort of re-raise or anything like that. Like, if it was the button raising, then I might try something more aggressive to try to defend my blind. Here, I will call. Now, there's a good chance it missed. His position here, he could be opening an ace-king, ace-queen, maybe ace-jack suited, pocket pairs, maybe 9s and above. Now, that's a little bit of a scare card. What I might do is, if it gets 3 cards to a flush, or sort of more of a straight, I might try to represent. If he's smart, he should bet here, and just force me to fold. And I can't call anything over here unless I want to go for a stone cold bluff. But it's bad. I was out of position. Most likely, probably, even if he didn't hit the queen, he probably still had a better hand than I did. Now, this is another weird one. Like, king queen off is not, like, the problem with something like a king queen is if you hit a king or a queen, sometimes you're just like ludicrously far behind other people. And especially in a multi-way pot like this, if I hit a king or a queen and there's like multiple people involved, and I'm going to be out of position, I'm going to be first to act on every street, I'm going to be way out of position, and there's a good chance that my hand just won't stick. Although the pot odds are starting to get kind of ridiculous over here. I'm going to call because there's so many people in. Now, Jeff could do something ridiculous, and okay, we're going to check. There's 4 people behind me. We're not going to try first position steal. Jeff could have done a big raise there, and the only person who really showed strength was this person, Fan85. They're the only person that showed any strength, and they may not have been able to call this, especially with 3 people behind at that point. There could have been something crazy, although a little less so. So straight is gonna try to take this. They might have easily. Wow. I mean, I'm definitely out here. There's no play with both these people coming in. They're both indicating they've got something. Straight could have called here with a sort of middling pocket pair. They may have made a set, but they might just be, you know, pair of 8s or something, like an overpair to the board. They might have just called with like something like ace king. Seems a little unlikely. Build Petra. Why is Quill a fish? Oh, what, my username? because I'm clearly a fish. I mean, now it's like, oh my god, a queen! Oh, well. I have no regret. The only thing I wasn't sure about in this is whether I should have called, folded, raised, sort of pre-flop, and then the small blind over there. I think not taking a stab at the flop and then folding to the bet, I think was perfectly fine and correct. Because the fact of the matter is I could still be in a super amount of trouble. Is it going to go check down here, or straight and going to make some sort of value bet or bluff? Oh, calling for time. That's interesting. So you do have a kind of a limited time to act every round, but you do have a time bank. I think it starts with 45 seconds in the bank to start off with. I think Bot Cabbage is having the option of folding or showing. Oh, no, Bot Cabbage is on the button. I misinterpreted where it was. Sorry. With 2 pair, Bot Cabbage. Where is it on Party Poker? Over here. Where we can open this up and see the hand history. Turns out, I mean, oh, so they were staying in, they took a stab on the flop because they actually had a flush draw. And overcards. So that was well done. And then Bot Cabbage just called as sort of a slow play. That's a raise and a re-raise, and all I've got is, king 3 off. No thank you, not interested in that one bit. This will be interesting. So a grip showed, announced strength over here by opening, and then this showed a lot of strength over here. Bot Cabbage is saying I have or Brot Cabbage is saying I have a very strong hand. Yeah, so the tournament to resolve to the end will probably take about 5 hours, plus or minus an hour, depending on how things go. But of course, I might not be in there that long. The blinds, so they go up every 8 minutes for the first 2 levels, and then they go to 10 minutes over here. I think, when's the rebuy limit? The late registration until level 16, I think that's also when you can use your re-entries, and that makes sense. After 16, it goes to slightly longer things. So yeah, the lives is because we can bust out. Oh, wow. So it's either, at this point, the only move is, like, it's going to be an all-in if you're going to raise. So at this point, Brot Cabbage is definitely, this is signaling probably aces, but not necessarily. Wow. All right, I am, people are being, oh, no, of course, because we do have the rebuys. Let's say people are being way more aggressive than expected. Well, it takes it with the flush. And is that our first bust? That's our first bust. Now, Grip can rebuy for free. Rebuy. No, I'm not playing those. Absolute rags. So 42 of 43, but Grip will have the option to rebuy. And then what'll happen is they'll get seated at a table, and it'll wait until the blinds have just gone by, generally speaking. There's Grip, back at our table over here. But that was our first, semi-elimination. The first person to lose a heart. Yeah, I don't like that Jeff Gross, who's a pro, assuming I'm correct about this, I think Jeff Gross is a professional poker player, I think. I don't like that he's to my left. Okay, we're going to bring out the die of arbitration. This could be a draw, or a call, so I'm just going to call here. Where the hell's that music coming from? Did I start Spotify? Okay, let me turn that off. Hang on. So I limped, Pyrian limped, and you go over here. It's very unlikely that someone's hit one of these aces. It's also, fairly unlikely that I have as well, but I'm not sure. I mean, if they go and push all in at this point. Oh. Okay, so no one believes me. Well, what's 85 going to do? If they have an ace... Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check here. And if they bet, I'm going to call. Because they might be going for a steal. They might have an ace. They might have paired the 8, which would be pretty bad. A 3-5 makes a straight, which is fairly unlikely. That's a small, maybe value bet, just trying to see if they can bring out some money. I've got a call here. They do have the 8. I mean, we're only 7-handed right now. No, I think that's still a little too weak, 7-handed to open with. The only thing I was really scared of in that hand was maybe the 8. I mean, maybe a higher pocket pair. I think calling it at the end was okay. I think going, like, slowing down on the turn was okay too. I'll be interested to see. So I've got to look for 12 minutes 22 on my time stamp here to see what people thought of that hand. All right, 3-8 is terrible. It's so bad, I wouldn't even want to defend my blind with it. This is fairly early on, so I'm really not interested. If there are a couple of limpers, I could get insane pot odds for a call here, but I don't think we're at that point. Because I would be the last person to act, right? So if I just call, that's the flop over there. And there could end up... Yeah, that's not enough. But I mean, 8-3 is so bad. It's like, oh my god, an 8 and a 3. But first of all, even if I make my flush at this point, like, ooh, with a 3. Yeah, so stream sniping, I see a discussion about it. There's a possibility for a certain amount of stream sniping because it can get extra information about how people are playing behind the things, especially with, you know, someone like me who's talking about their thinking and their overall strategy so much, but no real-time thing. But that's why I have, where's my OBS? That's why I have our die of arbitration. So you guys may remember this from our Crusader Kings 3 series. I am going to use this die to add randomness to my gameplay that will make me, even if someone knows the strategy I'm generally trying to play, this is going to add the correct amount of randomness to my gameplay to make it harder for that to pin down. Basically, on high rolls, I'm going to play faster and more aggressive. On low rolls, I'm going to play slower and more passive. And that will help me shake things up. For example, if I get pocket aces under the gun, I'll roll this. If I get a 1, maybe we'll just limp with those pocket aces. If it's a 6, because I think right here, we're looking at a lot of, like, about either min bet or maybe 2.5 big blinds as an opening bet. If I roll a 6, then maybe I'll come in for 4 times the big blind as my opening and use that as to sort of shake things up and make the things a little bit harder to read. Just go with the Michael Scott strategy, go all in right now. That's one of the reasons I'm using the delayed stream, because I know there's going to be a lot of pushes to do something like that. We are up to 47 total registered players. Now, I don't know if this number increases with rebuys. I don't know if that 47 represents 47 players who are actually in the game. No, see, these guys are finished, except they're still in. So 47 is the total amount of buy-ins to the tournament, including rebuys. I think, well, I mean, we're at 43 players currently. I think only 43 players actually shown up, and I know there's at least one person who said they'll do a late registration, so we may end up with 44 real players. I would like to start stealing some blinds. I'm not sure that 4-8 offsuit is the way to go for that, though. And definitely not if there's someone who does a raid ahead of time. Jeff Gross is one of the party poker Twitch teams. Thanks, Essentia! Yeah, so there's a handful of full-time professional poker players in here, which is kind of terrifying. Okay, I gotta pay attention to more of these hands. So Cabbage raised to what it was, about 2.5 big blinds. Jeff and Pyrian both called. We've got a fairly raggy board. They both check to the original raiser, who bets about half the pot. This is very standard. Now we get a call here from Jeff, which is interesting. And then, oh! And a raise from Pyrian. Now, Pyrian, that signals pretty strong stuff, and in fact, he gets 2 folds out of that. That move, that check raise kind of move, indicates he's broadcasting incredible strength. He's like, I suckered you in for some money, but I'm going to close it down because I happen to hit 2 pairs with maybe a 9-7 suited, or maybe I made a set. Or Pyrian might have just hit top pair with a 9 and been like, chosen a fairly risky path that indicates a lot of strength. So we're definitely going to open here. I'm going to open for the min raise in this case, although I should have rolled because of my position at this point. There's not that many people to act behind me. Raises are there. Sometimes raises and bets are there to build the pot, and that's what most beginners think about it. But raises and bets are mostly there to thin the competition. Now, if there had been a big re-raise from Grip over there, that actually might have been a situation where I decided, okay, I'm going to make a stand here and play very aggressive. Again, we've got those rebuys, and when I'm in a hand and I've actually got a hand, right? I'm not talking about a pure bluff. When I'm in a hand and I've got a hand, I'm going to try to play it very aggressively. And accept a little bit more variance, because here's the thing: if I believe that against a lot of these people I'm not as strong of a poker player, and I think that's true, maybe one day, 10 years ago I was, but I don't think that's true anymore. So my response to that is to be more aggressive, more high variance in the hands where I'm in, because I'm going to assume that a good poker player is generally going to find edges on me, so playing a lot of smaller pots with a better player will make me the loser. However, if I can make it so that effectively there are fewer big pots, then hopefully the element of variance and RNG will be the way I cancel out skill. I'm going to try to cancel out skill, especially while I've got the rebuys, with fairly aggressive play. It's possible that if I bet the 5s on the turn, I don't think the 8 would have folded there. I may have been able to get a check down on the river. I find it hard to believe the 8 would have folded, because I'm assuming we're talking about the hand where I had the pocket 5s. Yeah, and it was, oops. That's an easy fold. Right over here. So I had the pocket 5s, and he had the 8. So what someone is saying here, Drew, is saying if I had bet on the turn when the 2 dropped, the 8 would have folded. I don't think that's true, because Fan85 here probably would not believe I had an ace, which is appropriate. I mean, if I have an ace, bad luck. And then they're like, well, they're probably thinking I have the only pair on the board, which is true. And while there are some pocket pairs ahead of that, I bet you they would have called on the turn. Now, if I called on the turn and then bet big on the river, that would have been the one play that might have done it. But I would have had to be willing to go double barrel it and to make it a fairly big bet on the river, is the way I sort of interpret that hand. So maybe. I mean, that was an example where I did have a hand in there, but I was going to stay in. I think sort of check turn, call river. I mean, when I checked on the turn, I knew there was going to be a bet on the river, regardless of what they had. And my thinking was, if I bet and they call, if I bet, they'll only call with something that's going to beat me. I'm never going to get a better hand to fold if I bet on the turn. But if I check, a weaker hand, someone who's missed, might bet in me on the river. And so at that point, I effectively spend the same amount of money, although potentially less money, than, if I was already behind. But in a situation where I was ahead, that was the only way for me to make more money, was my thinking with the 5s over there. We do indeed have that. So one of the tables must have just closed. Indeed, I suspect there's going to be a rebuy over here. Oh, we do have 44 live players now. We do have 44 live players. Well, we've got an all-in. Queens versus 7s. Pyrian takes it straight in his head. Now, this is sort of why I expected. With the fact that we do have the those rebuys, this is what I expect. The trick to beating better players is to have better hands than they do. They have no defense for that. That's only half the equation, though. Because you still have to get them to put money against you when you have a better hand. Although that's the least of our concern. So it feels like, and I don't think on Party Poker we've got table stats in terms of, yeah, like I don't know what the people putting money into pot stat is over here. It doesn't feel like people are being very loose at all. Like, we're not seeing a bunch of flops with a ton of people in it. Jack 8 would be pretty hard to defend my big blind with over here. I want to show Brought Cabbage that he can't just steal my blind every single time. Hold on. Nope, I rolled a 1. I'm definitely folding. This is why the variance die is here. The die of arbitration. Because sometimes I will defend my big blind with a non-optimal hand. What's with the green 6? Oh, I really like... no, this is going to be 4-minute delay. No. Interesting, if I was on the big button there, I might almost, or the big blind, I might almost consider defending with that, just because it's suited, although you're only 6% to ever make your flush that way. what was I saying? Oh, the green 6. Yeah, playing with 4-color deck, which I absolutely prefer. So clubs are blue and diamonds are green, or the other way around. There are a bunch of options, actually. Not here. I want to go table options, table themes. So you've got tons of different options for your deck types, card backs, colors. All the big poker sites have a shocking amount of customization with their. Oops, cancel. That's. Oh right, that actually closes the window. It's part of Poker Bear and Poker Stars that I'm not going to be able to weigh in on any of the poker sites because I don't play a lot of poker anymore. So I don't know in terms of which has the better client, which has the best tournaments, which has the biggest player base, what has the best rate. Like I have no idea about any of those, so I can't really I can't weigh in, unfortunately. But Party Poker is the people that put it on. I will say this: Party Poker is the first site that I spent a lot of time on. I started playing poker a fair bit back. I think it was about 2002. I started playing some online poker. And back then, it was Limit Hold'em that was still like very, very popular. And that's where I got my start on. King 10 off. Yeah, I've got position here. Hang on. And that's, just 2 times the big blind. Oh, well, that makes this decision easy. Excellent. Yeah, so Limit Hold'em was very, 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 very popular still, and that's when I got my start on. And I had some modest success playing Limit Hold'em on a couple of sites. And then in 2003, there's a gentleman appropriately named Chris Moneymaker who won the World Series of Poker, and he was effectively a nobody. He was a casual player, won the World Series of Poker, which was televised. And at that point, televised poker and hold cards and things were still relatively new. And it was just like the sweet spot where all of a sudden poker got the world's attention. And people went nuts. And everyone wanted to play no limit poker no limit hold'em because that's what we're showing on TV. So you had tons of these people. It was the online poker boom. Everyone and their dog was getting on to, especially Party Poker at the time, which is massive, huge at the time. Jumped on Party Poker and started playing. And if you had any poker knowledge whatsoever, it was basically an era of free money. And I loved it. It was a good time. The thing I actually spent the most time doing, I just realized I don't have this quite centered up. Let's do something like that. I actually really enjoyed playing single table tournaments. Oh yeah, we're going to have I think there's a break every half hour for this particular tournament. Normally they have a break every hour, but they have more breaks here for commentary, which is actually great timing for me because now I can go ahead and chit chat and tell my poker stories. I started playing a bunch of single player, or single table tournaments. So sit and goes don't have a scheduled time. It's basically as soon as they're full, it starts. Sometimes you have multi-table ones, sometimes you'll have single table ones. On Party Poker, there were these $10 single table sit and go tournaments. I think there were turbos as well, so the blinds went up fairly quickly. And I crushed those. It was so stupid because not only did everyone want to play no limit hold'em, everyone wanted to play tournament style no limit hold'em, and the single table turbo ones were quick enough that people really went into them because they were fast. You'd finish a game if you got to the end, maybe an hour. Was something like that. So it was very quick. So they were very popular and people were terrible at them. I can't remember if it was 9 or 10-handed, those things. I feel like it was 10-handed. And I think the payout structure was something like, I want to say something like 50, 30, 20. Like top 3 places paid, I think was all it was. And I think it was something like 50, 30, 20 or something to pay out. And I cashed. For a while there, I was cashing 50% of them. So half the time, so on a $10 entry, well, I think it was 11 because I think it's $10 plus 1 to the website, or maybe it was 10 plus 50 cents to the website. But effectively, for every $10 I put in, 50% of the time I would make $20 or more, and it was just a time of it just felt like free money. It was so insane. It was a lot of fun. And eventually the absolute fish sort of fizzled out. They either lost interest or lost too much money. Hey, we got some money from Dream of. Thank you very much. Here, already in the money. Good luck. Thank you very much, Dream of. um, so, and yeah, and my old interest, changed and waned and things like that. But I still played for a long time. My personal favorite isn't actually tournament play. I really like cash tables. No limit cash tables are actually my personal favorite. And at some point, when the original boom sort of waned, and the easy money, like just single table turbo things, which is just like so easy. When that sort of slowed down, then I switched mostly to cash no limit stuff, and played a fair amount of that over the years. But I stopped playing very much, like probably something like 10 years ago. And so it's been that long, and as a result, I'm going to be super duper rusty. Bum, 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 bum. I don't think I've ever played on GG Poker. I do like Poker Stars, I will say that. I mean, shout out to Party Poker for putting out this tournament, and Party Poker was one of the sites I played a lot on back in the day, but I do really like Stars as well. Part of it is because for a while there, the legality of various poker sites was a very tricksy thing, mostly because in the U.S., gambling laws still are, but especially then were very, very strict, and it was very difficult in the United States to legally play online poker. It was less of a problem for me in Canada, and it wasn't a problem for Europeans. Canadians and Europeans, no problem. Online poker, everything is groovy. But in the States, it was an issue, and some of the sites did have problems and have to shut down for a while. And then they got bought out by their companies, and they were either being run somewhere internationally, or they were run on. There were a lot of First Nations reserves that were officially running them because they were excluded from certain things. But a lot of just generic American citizens couldn't legally play online poker. Some people still did by using some sort of proxy and things like that. But for a while, the scene dried up, not because there was an issue with the poker sites being not good. They were great software. They were good. I've never had a problem with any of them. But because it was literally hard for American players to find a game. And it was harder to have that kind of critical audience. Most of those problems, I think, have been resolved at this point. Actually, one of the big issues for a long time was it was very difficult to get your money out of poker sites. Not because the poker sites were being skeezy, but because the banks were. Banks did not want to deal with this. And even PayPal for a while had because there was all sorts of legality issues and things like that, and they just didn't want to get involved. Again, mostly because of American gambling laws. So things slowed down for a bit. But it's nice to see that online poker seems to be alive and well, and as far as I can tell, things have gotten a lot better. Thanks, Demonek. When you see this in 4 minutes, put up the window with a hand history that was nice. Oh, that's right. I should I can just keep this up over here so you can see the last few hands. Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that. Now, normally at this point in the tournament, I would have notes on a bunch of players. So you can very easily, you go to player notes over here, and you can write down some stuff about them. It'll show up. There'll be a little N to show you that you've got a note on a player. Like all the poker websites have this. You can color code them as well. So a lot of people will come up with a system like they'll be, okay, well, people in red are super aggressive. People in yellow are sort of maybe standard, sort of tight. People green might be just really loose, sort of fish people. You can't expect to bluff those people out. They'll call down with anything. And different things like that. Some poker sites might even allow you to put little symbols. I used to use, there's all sorts of third-party clients as well, like Hold'em Manager and different things like that, that will automatically import your hand history and stuff and do statistical analysis so you can see your play. You'd be like, okay, you know what? My ace king offs gameplay is not good. I'm not making as much money as I should, or hell, I might be losing money with that. So you can see where sort of your holes are in there, and they can also track your opponents, which I mean, early on in most things, in a random table is not going to do much. But as higher stakes where you're seeing more of the same people, you might get more information. Or in a tournament over time, you can get an idea of, okay, well, this person comes into 30% of the pots, they're very loose or not. If you can't pay attention, very handy if you're going to do multi-table stuff. But I don't have any of those softwares anymore. You do lose your ability to rebuy after level 16. Yes. I've dabbled with Pot Limit Omaha. I actually really like PLO. I haven't played it very much. I'm certainly not good at it. I just realized. What do I have? I have a Discord message. Okay. Good. 5-4 off in early position. Nope. I would like to, again, it's like, do I say this out loud or not? I would definitely like to open up and make some moves here. Yeah, no, twist. Okay, some people are confused. It is real money. The chips. So oh, that's one thing I meant to address early on. The numbers you see here, these are the number of chips you have in the tournament. This is a tournament style game. The chips here don't represent money in and of itself. You buy into the tournament. The buy-in for a tournament could be $1, could be $100,000, and then you sit down at your table and they give you some number of chips. The chips you get can be completely arbitrary. It could be a $1 tournament and they give you 50,000 chips. It doesn't matter. In a tournament format, it's just when you run out of chips, you get kicked out, and that's the value of it. But while it was free to enter, because it's Party Poker is putting this up for streamers and pro players. You know, to their goal. Party Poker wants this to be the most watched poker live stream ever. They want to try to do that. Okay, 7-handed. We're definitely going to open. I'm going to 3-bet it and see what that does for us. I should have rolled the die. I really don't want to play pocket jacks against a lot of people. All right, that's good. Everyone who would be behind me on future streets has now folded. These two would be in front of me. And it's just a fold. And I just pick up the blinds. And I'm totally okay with that with the pocket jacks. From an early position like this, 100% fine with just winning the blinds there. I mean, obviously, you know, I'd love to just stack wipe someone, but it's fairly unlikely. There's going to be an interesting twist. Okay, so Pyrian's doing a big open here from a relatively early position with Jack 2 offsuit. I'm not going to defend my blinds with that in any way whatsoever. Shit, I was just about to say something I can't remember what, and chat's not going to be able to remind me for 4 minutes of what that might be. The pocket jacks. Totally okay with picking up the blinds. It'd be nice to double up through someone. Oh, yes! If you bust someone, you take their last life. So we got 3 lives over here. If I bust out, I can come back in 2 more times. If you bust someone out on their 3rd life, if they're out of the tournament completely, they're supposed to raid the person who busted them. I'm going to go ahead and do this for 2.5. Now, it'll be interesting. Jeff has called to defend him the blind here. There's actually a decent chance that I have the best hand here. I'm going to go and bet 2,000. He might come on above me, and I don't think I'm going to be able to call that. That's interesting that it's so small. The problem is there's a lot over here. I don't really have much of the way of outs. I think this was a fair continuation bet. I don't think I can stay here. Now, I did talk about I do want to play the hands more aggressively when I'm in one, but I don't think this is a spot for it. Although I should have rolled the die and just come over top and gone all in. Actually, I should have rolled the die, and if it come up 6, I should have just all-ined over there to make the play a lot harder to figure out. I scroll up and grip. Yeah, so we got some pros here, including Jeff, who is a pro. But there was a very connected board. There was where's the hand I was in over here? Yeah, I mean there was 3 to a straight and 2 diamonds. He might not have had any. I might have had the best hand right then with my king high, but he could have had a huge draw, and he could have paired it up. Like I had very weak stuff there. I was happy to have made a move. Jack 9 off. I mean, it's a good position. Oh no, sorry, someone raised ahead of me. What's my personal goal this tournament? I would love if I make the money. I don't really accept. I think I say 40% chance of making the money. Oh wait, sorry. No, maybe a little less than that. I meant to say my expected value. I'm gonna, you know, if people are saying sort of, you know, they're 50-50 with everyone, I'm gonna rate myself at 40% compared to everyone else. but I would love to make the money. I mean, $1,000 would be pretty awesome. Oh, there's an ante. Oh, it's gonna be too late for that. Hold on, I can say it. I can say it in chat. There you go. Oh, someone else answered as well. Yeah, so right now the blinds are 900 and 450 with 110 ante. So every player is putting in at least 110 chips every single hand right now. Which also goes and incentivizes quite a lot of aggressive play, because there's a fair amount of money in the middle as is. Right now I'm a little over 30 big blinds, so still fairly deep. I mean, I'm a little low compared to some of the people at the table, but I still have a lot of chips currently. However, because I've got the free rebuy to 50,000, I'm very much in a position soon where I would very much like to double up or bust out so I can come back at 50. I don't want to waste my the rebuys before I have to. No, Bot Cabbage is Ico Gaming. Is that their... So on Twitch, they are Ico90. ICHO90 is who brought cabbages. Absolute rags. What does seven-handed mean? Oh, I was just talking about the number of people at the table. So it's 8 right now. If someone isn't here, then it's only going to be 7. So I think min raises pre-flop right now are going to be fairly potent, which is a little surprising because there is the ante. So in terms of pot odds, a min raise isn't that much. We're up to 58. So a lot of people have had to do a rebuy already. We go to page 3 over here. So from 47 to 58, that's 12. 12 people have already rebought, have busted and rebought in. With the rebuys, it is going to be impossible to just play sort of tight and sort of slip into the money. I mean, generally speaking, that's not a viable strategy these days regardless. But with the rebuys especially. So we got an hour and a half left in late registration. So that's going to be my timer as well for the rebuys. But yeah, I'd like to step on the gas soon. Again, not with garbage, not pure bluffs, but Quill needs to roll the die. Tell him when to roll the die. Pre-roll. That's a good idea, Icer. I will pre-roll and not tell you guys what it is, but I'll have banked in a bit of an idea. So the die idea, the rolling die idea came up because I've actually seen this advice in one of the poker books I have. I can't remember which one. Someone suggested as a way, because like, for example, let's say you get dealt pocket aces in an early position. Generally speaking, you're going to want to raise to, eliminate the competition and / build a pot. Whereas if you've got something like pocket tens, you might not want to raise because if someone re-raises, it gets tough. You might just want to call and hope you can see a flop a little bit more cheaply. But if you just do that, your play becomes too predictable. And so this poker trick that I'd read was like, well, let's say with pocket tens, I want to limp about, 80% of the time, and I want to raise to sort of disguise things a little bit about 20% of the time. And with aces, it's the opposite. I'm going to want to raise about 80% of the time, but then just limp in about 20% of the time. So this person had advised using the second hand on your watch. So when you're trying to make a decision as to which of the two ways you're going to go, you do something like, well, let's say from the 0 to 15, it's about a quarter of the time. If I've got my pocket aces, oh, the second hand's at the 7-second mark, so I'll just limp instead of raising this time around, and vice versa. And they said the great thing about it is that even if someone knows what you're doing, like they know you're looking at your watch to randomize something, They don't know exactly what second your watch is at. They don't know what number range you're looking for, and they don't know what hand you've got. When you're under the gun and you limp or you raise after looking at your watch, they'll know that, well, most of the time when you've got aces you're raising, but it's not all the time, and it sort of hides it a little bit. So I'm going to use the die to do the same thing. So we had a big hand developing over here, which, again, rather than giving commentary, I should have been watching so that I knew exactly how it developed. That is quite a lot of betting going on here. I think, and call, like, we've got a bet, raise, call on a board that's 4, 5, 8. It'd be nice to be able to rewind the hand while it's going on to see, like, how it got here in the first place. Because this is a big blind over here. So I think what we had is we had a pre-flop raise over here, and we had a call from the big blind. That's a big bet. Now, Omar just called the last raise. Than keeps firing bullets to indicate that they have a very strong hand, is what they are portraying here. And Omar is calling maybe because of the same situation. Like, they think they've got a good hand. They don't want to fold it, but they don't think they'll get called by anything else. I'm thinking maybe overpair and representing maybe a set or much bigger pair. Yeah, that's probably it. Omar, since it went to showdown, unless Omar folded there, Omar had 9-7. I'm giving all these people way too much credit for their hands. Oh, one thing I'd wanted to say. Remember that on televised poker, they don't show most of the hands. Okay, well, that tells me everything I need to know as to whether, because I'm like, well, maybe it's okay to limp here, and might be able to take a monster. We've got some deep pots over here. We might be able to get a weird like double or triple up with the 10-4. Just because of pot odds, but the re-raise made it pretty easy. Omar's all in, which, I mean, when you're short stacked like that, I mean, that would be a correct play even without a rebuy. Because he's actually all set up to quadruple up if he wins this hand. He's only got an ace deuce, but, I mean, he was in for so much at that point. Quadruple up for Omar! Damn! Alright, king, queen. It's really going to depend on what happens up front. If an early person puts in a raise, king, queen off is very likely to be dead in the water. But, now that's interesting. I think I'm going to put in a big raise here. I had rolled a big number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bet out representing the ace. In fact, I'm going to bet out for this much. I've raised pre-flop. Continuation bet is absolutely standard here. I've raised saying I've got a good hand like an ace something, and here I'm saying, no, I still have it. If they come in way over the top here, good for them. They're going to take the hand. But everything about the way I played this hand says I've got an ace. There we go. Now, and they know that, right? And I know that they know that. Like, it's the whole thing. It's, I'm saying I've got an ace. And they know that I'm saying I have an ace. Now, whether they believe me or not. So, a continuation bet's not the same as a stone cold bluff. Whereas there, if I had checked and he bet, I couldn't call that. Because, I had nothing. I couldn't have possibly called that. I wouldn't necessarily believe that straight had a hand, but I still wasn't in a position where I could possibly call a bet. So the only way for me to win that hand is to bet first, hope they fold. That laugh, by the way, was to the one Marlowe. So you guys won't hear me respond, but I can respond to the chat right away. Wonder if Apple Watch is an RNG app. I mean, you definitely could. I mean, they're die rollers, right? For your phone or your watch or different things. Imagine asking Google, should I raise, call, or fold? Yeah. Okay, Quill, stop watching chat. Watch the goddamn poker. I'm like, oh, it's a free tournament. It doesn't mean anything. No, there's thousands of dollars on the line. Quill, you should probably actually try to play poker. Or, you know, I'll just roll the die every turn. It'll tell me what to do. People are saying the watch story is probably from Harrington on Poker. Well, I've been rereading to make sure that I'm boned up as much as possible. The Harrington on Poker books, I don't know if you don't watch on Twitter. It doesn't really show up over here. I was just trying to show how worn the spine is. I've read Harrington on Poker a lot. Harrington on Hold, rather. Very good pair of books. Both very beefy. They are more or less definitive No Limit Hold'em tournament books, I would say. 10-5, but it's suited. Well, if it had come to me, I would have rolled the dice to see maybe what I was doing, but definitely not in this case. And Omar is going to be pushing all in with a fairly wide range of hands, especially with the rebuy. Even without the rebuy, he might have been a little more conservative. You know, if he didn't have the rebuy, he might do this with, say, virtually any pocket pair, or, you know, sort of sevens and above kind of pocket pair or something like that. Here, I'm going to say he's going to do this with any pocket pair, any suited ace, or any suited connectors. Now, this is semi-suited connectors. All right, he's busted out, which he was eager for the rebuy. We're going to go ahead and do a min raise over here. I should have rolled the die first. Okay. The die confirms that I should play this hand aggressively. Now, Pyrion calls from the button. That I don't like. He's going to be acting behind me. I was 3 off the button. This was with King Jack off. By the way, this is some people call this the bachelor hand. Now, Fan here could make a very strong squeeze play by raising. Okay, they did not. Now, here, because the Pyrion is still behind me, I'm not going to continue ambition bet. First of all, it's 3-handed. There's everything here says that my hand missed this unless I have a pocket pair. I'm just going to check it. It would be a very hard story to sell. Pyrion is going to go ahead and bet. Pyrion's call from the preflop could be a big suited ace or something like that. Could be any pocket pair. I mean, might be something as bad as like King Jack or something, but unlikely. We got a call, a bet, and a call. I've got no stake in this hand over here. Like, I have no reason to be in part of this. I mean, it would be ridiculous for me to make a big raise over there. The story wouldn't kind of check out. Unless I was hiding a monster, unless I had pocket 8s. But if I had pocket 8s, then I would get paid out there and make huge money. Because, like, it would be, you know, what are people going to do? So I'm going to pre-roll the die again. Okay. Looking for like a big 6 or a big 5 to show me that now's going to be the time to play something aggressive. I'm not going to tell you what I roll, because who knows when I will actually use this die. But it is ready, and it's going to give me that sort of like the changing gear. This is normally something you have to do fairly consciously. No matter what I rolled, there's not going to be a move with Queen 7 unless I want to go on a Stone Cold bluff. That would be stupid. All right, Cabbage comes in with a raise. We've got a re-raise from Pyrion. Now, I think that might be a min re-raise over there, which is interesting. Although people are playing surprisingly tight. Neighbor, my powered low, might be time for war. So we're up to 45 to 65. So we have 45 live players. 65 players were present, except not. It's representing rebuys. So at this point, it looks to me like 20 people have busted and rebought at this point. Rebought. Again, we all have free entry into this. It's for real money. It's for big real money. Again, 50,000 real dollars on the line, spread among the top 16. It is for real money, but we're all getting into this for free. So it's like sponsored but not sponsored. I'm expecting to walk away with $0, so I'm not considering this a sponsored stream, but who knows? Scrolling back to see why Quill laughed. The chat. The problem with the chat is it also has all the extra stuff that happened. No. Even if I'd rolled a 6. No. So there's another min raise. The thing is, I would much prefer if Jeff were to my right. So yeah, min raises are definitely being effective at causing people to fold here. Hey, Jeff! Now here's interesting. My pot odds here aren't bad. I'm not doing the math on the fly. About 6-1 with 2 suited cards. I'm going to go ahead and just take a look over here. Now I'm not going to open, but I might have odds to call. So there are 9 cards left. I mean, I don't know if anyone else have clubs. Generally speaking, you look at this as I have 9 cards left to make my flush. Although it's not going to be the nut flush, so drawing to it is pretty freaky because I don't have the ace. A jack would also make me a straight, inside straight over here. No one bet out the first time. I'm going to bet and see if I can just take it down here. If it gets called, there's still a chance that I win this by making n flush. Now here, I don't have anything other than high card. Jeff, I don't... Nope. We're just going to check it. Off, yeah, just means non-matching suit. So a hand is either suited or non-suited. So yeah, I have a pair of queens with a king high. That is a very small bet. That is the size of a value bet, right? Like, I'm just trying to make it really small to convince you that you should call me. Except I have nothing that can win a showdown, so I'm going to fold. I mean, maybe my king high with the pair of queens on the board, maybe it can win. But it would have to be like a ludicrously bad hand for Jeff over there. But yeah, it's one of those, he knows that I know that he knows. Well, what level are various people on, right? Like, never try to bluff someone who's absolute trash at poker because they don't understand the bluff, right? They don't know what it means. In fact, you've got level 0 players that don't even really understand what's in their hand, for example. So I don't know what level Jeff thinks I'm at. To me, I read that as I'm placing a value bet. Jeff might not know if I know what a value bet is or not. It could be a bluff, it could be not, but now ace 10's good, not in here. I'm going to be acting first on every single street after this. I don't want to play this hand. I think my only move is a giant re-raise, which I didn't roll for, so I'm going to get out. If I'd rolled a 6 there, I might have just, like, well, I actually might have shoved. A shove would be overly large, but makes sense with the rebuy over there. If I'd rolled a 6, we would have done that. And the thing is, if that's the case, then when I do have a really good hand in that position, I also have to roll the die, and some number on that will also represent shoving all in instead of doing some sort of value type mechanicals. Should check period and basically stealing a lot of little pots. That's good to know. So yeah, you guys have to tell me what other players have been doing generically. And if you're reporting other players, let them know about the die of arbitration. Because that'll actually be really good information for them. Because it means they need to know that there's going to be an extra level of variance thrown in there from the die. Right? So what, 16.5% to roll a 6? Or a 1 if it's going the other way? Or 33% if I'm doing something on a 5 or a 6? I thought about putting the delay marker on the screen, but it's in the what game and enough people can answer it. Because I knew it was going to be one of the most common questions to ask. Chef Gross sniping. Oh, there's another break. Right, it's on the hour. So yeah, most poker sites, and it's actually interesting, regardless of when a tournament started, most poker sites will have a... The hell kind of trash talk is going on? I might have to start muting some people. Most poker sites will have all tournaments go on a break on the hour. That way, because some people play more than one tournament at once online, and so you sync them up so that you can, go pee all at the same time. This tournament will have a break twice an hour, so on every half hour, just to allow for more commentary and things like that. That's a trap. Oh yeah, I'm quite curious. I want to know, like, now I'm 4 minutes later, but I'm just watching the hand now. I was in with Jeff Gross with I had the King 7 suited. I'd be very curious to know what he had. Again, I think I do tend to give other players too much credit. I guess I could go to Jeff's stream. That would be the easiest way to do it. Where is Jeff in here? There he is. No, I don't. Open a stream up. Thank you. Oh my god. I gotta sit through the commercial. The hand's gonna be over by the time I can actually load up his channel. I should leave it open though, because he's the player to my left, which means he's the player I'm going to have the most difficulty dealing with. Because every hand we're in, other than one, he's gonna have position on me. Yeah, I came in too late. I can't actually see what he's got. That's too bad. I just missed it. Damn you, commercial. And no one in the chat has actually answered me as to what he had. Oh, that's a shame. Thanks for the 42-month resub, Juna. I know that I'm missing a bunch of those, but... Beat a bad player, just play fundamentally good poker. Yeah, exactly. And don't get upset about bad beats. A lot of people play poker and then they start complaining about the time that, like, oh, I had aces and this guy called me with like 7-2 offsuit and, you know, he got runner sevens and, oh, that's terrible. Here's the thing you've got to remember. If you suffer a bad beat, it means that you are inherently playing better hands than other people. You only will get a bad beat if you're playing poker from a good position. So, you know, take it as a good sign. Also, if a player is so bad, they're playing such bad hands in bad ways, that's great. Keep inviting them to your table. What's wrong with you? So I got suited semi-connectors. I would not mind a call here. Now, I actually rolled a 1. I will respect the die of arbitration. I kind of wanted to do some action here, but I will respect the die of arbitration in this situation. I gotta re-roll that. I rolled a 1. That's an easy fold. One of the defining traits that you'll find in really good, like, pro poker players is actually one of the same traits you might find in really good chess players, is fantastic memory for things. Like, if the last hand I was in, I wouldn't be able to recount you the details of how it went. You know, who raised pre-flop, and by how much, and then what did I do, and then what did they do, and then what was the flop that came down, and then what did that do for my action? I couldn't tell you. But a good poker player probably could. That is fine. I mean, it looks like an insane overbet, but Grips is really betting the amount over here. So, I mean, he's overbetting the pot somewhat, But I mean, there was 15,000 in there. He's only got 24,000 left. Really, if he's going to re-raise, it's effectively a re-raise to put straight all in regardless. So the number doesn't seem as ridiculous. Again, with the rebuy here, things might be a little interesting. Straight is looking for more time. Jeff had pocket jacks that hand. Thank you. That was... How many hands ago was that? That's when I had like king... Was that my king deuce hand? See? Again, see that lack of memory? That's the... Oh no, that's someone else's hand in there. What do I have on that hand? See? I don't remember. I guess what I can do is I can actually cycle backwards here. Previous hand. The king 7. So he had pocket jacks. If that's true, then I think I played that hand about as good as I could possibly do it. Jack 8 is terrible. It's not like I'm, even if I'd roll the 6, I'm like, I'll save my 6 for something else. So I still have a little north of 20 big blinds. Next level, even next level, I still have a little north of 20 big blinds. Still not desperation mode. It's not that deep, although it's certainly getting at the shallow end. I have to remember, actually, there are antes as well, so actually the cost is a little bit more than I give it credit for. And I have to remember it's 8-handed, not 9 or 10, which normally the tournaments do. So it is a little faster. So my M or whatever, I would rate it a little bit lower than before. But it's already my plan to go aggressive, especially with rebuy. But I can't do it on rags. Mostly at this point, I'm just going to be happy to get my money in on any decent hand at this point. That whiskey and chocolate. It's actually decaf coffee in the mug today. I did have a lot of coffee this morning, though. So I'm still kind of wired and jittery. Ugh! Again, at this point, you know, and this, I'm not saying it a secret. When anyone else at the table looks at my chip stack, they're going to look at it and say, he's going to be very happy to get all his money in on, 2 quality cards in some way. That's not going to be a secret. But it needs to be, like, vaguely quality-ish. I haven't said it's D6, not a D20. I'm using the D6 because that's what I used for our Crusader Kings one. Literally this die, which is actually one of Essentia's. Got a cool sort of blue, like, iridescence thing going on. Yeah, the 2 rerolls go away, although I still have over an hour, but I want to start using it. But again, not on a 4-9. Especially not in this position. But I think there were a couple that in hindsight, maybe I wish... See, I don't like that we're so near the start with ace rag unsuited. Because it's effectively a dead kicker. Well, and especially, I'm not going to do anything when someone opens ahead of me with such crappy hand. Like, that's really miserable. Which is a hard concept to convey to certain new players. Like, why some hands are much worse than they look. There's some interesting poker legality question talks happening in the chat right now. It is interesting that it's four-handed to the turn, although the pot's small, people are clearly not putting any money in. All in might be considering taking a stab at it. I mean, the 3 probably helped no one. But, as I say, if all in here has just, you know, some sort of, they have, like, say, the 8 or something, they might be tempted to try to take it at this point. So that way, hope no one else hits something bigger. But button, so actually, this person was under the gun. I have to believe if they had the queen, they would have bet it last time. Jacking off, even though I want to start taking some more risks under the gun here. No. Yeah, any pot you enter, you're pretty committed to. Thrice Wise said, well, from you guys' point of view, 4 minutes ago. And despite, wow. I mean, maybe this one would have been the one, but... Now, this is going to be a good one. If brought cabbage, for example, raises here, I might just jam all in. It's not a good hand, but I would be willing to do a crazy blind defense here and hope that they just fold. Okay, there you go. Fold, fold, fold. That's good. If anyone else had done a raise, I would have been forced to fold, I think, because it's so bad. But here, brought cabbage will try to steal the blinds with a wide range of plays. Now, if all in, if they call, I might still try it. Because, you know, at a certain point, why not, right? Okay, I'm going to shove. There you go. We got some more whiskey and chocolate that just came in. Or from your point of view, it came in 4 minutes ago. Oh, I guess it just came up on the screen. Dream of! Hey, Dream! Thank you very much! The second contribution to Whiskey and Chocolate and Poker Buy-In Fund. Dream says, marriage is like poker. Uh-oh. In the beginning, all you need is 2 hearts and a diamond. In the end, you wish you had a club and a spade. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Now, 4 minutes from now, brought cabbage will presumably know that I made that move with such a weak hand. But they had to know that that was a possibility, right? When I did it, they'd be like, well, he might not... Not doing that one. He might have nothing, but I don't have something strong enough to call in this position. And I have been playing fairly tight. The problem is, normally in a regular poker tournament, I would like generally increase my aggression here. The problem is, if I say that I'm going to generally increase my aggression now, like people will know and it'll be fuzzy and things. But again, it's more or less transparent. Anyone who's got some knowledge figures out from here. It is interesting. I do have more chips than Jeff. So, you know, that's a something. Still, if it comes to me, nope. I'm gonna say if it comes to me, I might take a stab at the blinds over here. If you min raise to steal the blinds, let's ignore the ante for a sec. If you min raise to steal the blinds, as long as it works, 1/3 of the time you break even. And with the ante, it actually gets a little bit better than that. It doesn't even have to work quite 1/3 of the time for you to break even. But I wasn't going to do it with this. Now, see, that was interesting. Jeff re-raised from the small blind. Okay, now this is a hand that I'm 100% fine going all in with. Ideally, okay, this is the ideal situation here. I'm going to min-raise, because that does seem to be fairly effective. I'm not going to just jam all in blind. That would be stupid. Because then, the only time you'll ever get called is someone who's got a much better hand than you. But Grip here, if Grip re-raises, I'll go all in. They might re-raise with a better hand, but they might be defending. But in case this is strong enough that I'm going to be fine with it. He's thinking about it. He or she. Just a fold. And get rid of the answer to life and everything. Unpredictability, aggressiveness, and cunning are the traits of a good poker player, along with good memory and understanding. Yeah, and one of the important things as well is to you have to sort of be passive and unemotional, regardless of what the stakes are. You kind of have to play exactly the same way, whether it's, you know, a penny game or $1 million game. Now, obviously, there's certain implications as to what your opponents are going to be like in those various games. But you know, never play with the rent money, because if you're playing scared money is lost money, Phrasing? What did I say? Oh, jacking off. Hey, it finally came in. Yes, the bachelor hand, jacking off. All right, ace jack offsuit from basically effectively what I would call a middle position normally is going to be okay. I'm gonna make it hold on, let me roll to see how much I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I'm gonna make it more than twice. Can confuse people. It's gonna 50-50. I was either gonna min raise or put it up a little bit more. What does it mean? Pyrian says it means I'm gonna call. Grip is thinking. The problem is if one of these goes all in, I will be in a tricky position. I don't like that I'm fairly low, but ace jack is definitely worse than a lot of hands. Now, if straighten goes all in, I think the answer then, because he's short stacked, I think the answer then is I actually go all in and hope that means Pyrian can't call. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to go heads up against a short stack who's desperate with exactly something like this. Except he pairs his 9 right away. But 100%, this is 100% with all the play I had pre-flop was perfectly right. This is going to be a very easy all-in this situation. It looks like I'm a little tilted, like maybe I'm being desperate to go it off, but it's actually great on a pair of 4s over here. Great on a pair of 4s. I mean, pair of 4s this early isn't a strong hand, don't get me wrong, but with the situation that we're in with the low chip count and the rebuy possibility and things like that, 4s is great, and actually I wouldn't have mind a call because I'm slightly better than 50-50 against 2 overcards. So I would love, you know, a coin flip that's slightly weighted in my preference here. Do. I actually tend to feel that like very short stack play when it's like you're basically all in or nothing. I tend to feel that is an area that I'm usually pretty comfortable with. I mean, it's pretty simple game at that point, but I'm usually pretty comfortable with that aspect of things. Of course, you don't want to be in a position where you go all in because like going all in works great every time until the one time it doesn't. So one thing I don't know. So Chess Bra has rebought twice. So Chess Bra is on his last life. That seems to be the only person. So 45-73. So we have what 28 people. So 27 people have busted one time, and one person's actually busted twice. If I'm doing the math correctly. And when you're playing poker, you should really be good at doing math like that, which I'm not. Oh, I'm watching the ace-10 suited hand go down now. Now I want to like chat. See, the stream delay. My favorite thing with streaming is interacting with the chat. So it really hurts that you know, I don't get to be there for that. I don't get to play, you guys. It's very unfortunate. So we're back 7-handed for now. It's just the way the math is working out, I guess, with the number of players we've got. Yeah, so 3 tables. Originally, there was only 1 table with 8 players, but there was 2 late registrations. So now 3 of the tables have 7 players, 3 of them have 8. At some point, people will actually get knocked out, and then things will start to recombine together. I'm not watching the hands because I'm watching chat. Don't play poker like this. Don't play poker with Netflix on the other monitor. I think that's actually one of the reasons I probably stopped playing as much poker. Because these days, when I'm playing games just for fun, virtually all the games I play just for fun are games that work well with like Netflix or something on the other monitor. Especially like playing stuff I've seen before, so I can sort of divide my attention between 2 things. But you can't divide your attention with poker. You gotta stay in there. So we're level 9. We've got an hour left until the end of late registration. Which is also when the rebuys, I think, will end. I think they describe it as, level 16, which I think is how all the timings work for that. It makes sense. I mean, we've finished 8 levels. We've got 8 more levels to go. We're halfway. There's about 2 hours there. Yeah. So I'm definitely still very much looking for double ups. or bust to rebuy. Swear to God that sound effects from Factorio. It does sound a little bit like the biters are eating your shit, like alert, right? Or maybe just maybe just the radar ping. You're right. Ugh. I want to defend my big blind, although that's okay. So that's a 3-time big blind bet, which used to be the standard, and I think in cash games it might still be a little bit more standard. If this had any potential, even if it was like 9-4 suited with this, because I could close out, it's just 3,200 more to me. I'm getting great pot odds, but it's such a shit hand, and it like I'm putting in such a big part of my stack. If I shove all in, there's no way, like, I think I get called and I'm crushed. I've just got to fold this. It's just not the place for it. Oof. That's really miserable. Because, especially in the blind like that, I don't want to be giving up the blind for free. But with 2 people in front of me, and I'm like, if I had a bigger stack, see, if I was sitting at about 35, maybe 40, that might have been a really good bluff shove all in. Because it might be big enough to convince these people to fold. But at 24,000 left behind, there wasn't enough for these guys to be terrified by it. I mean, Pyrion maybe a little bit more, but he also was the first person to raise, so it indicated more strength. Someone's real confident about things. To me, Pyrion is playing as if he's got an overpair to the board here. And doesn't believe that Grip has an 8. Pyrion could have something like, he could have like ace or 8 ace, or apparently since people are playing a lot looser than I actually believe, he could be something like an 8 king, like something like that is possible. Ace 10 might be more likely, or some sort of overpair, or Jack 10 or something like that. Like probably not King 10. That's really miserable. If it's folded to me, I'm definitely going to shove all in and just try to take the big blind from Pyrion. Chessbrah is out. He busted a 3rd time now? No, busted twice. Unless he didn't rebuy again. Might have been on a time thing. Whereas if there's a raise behind me, I can't play this hand. Oh, keeping a Kaz on the list twice? No, only once. Unless... Oh! Oh, hold on. Yeah, so I can't call this. I mean, I definitely can't call. My only option is fold or shove all in. And queen 3 off is just too miserable. If it's folded to me, I'm going to shove. Easy decision. It's actually what I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping it's folded to me. I shove. There's a good chance. I mean, I'm low enough that Grip is going to have a pretty wide range for calling me. Okay. I'm probably hoping for just a fold here because it's relatively unlikely that I double up. I mean, honestly, on the button here, if folded to me, I probably would have shoved with anything. Like 7 deuce offsuit is the worst hand in the Hold'em, and I would have shoved with it, like, no question. Grip knows that, right? Assuming he's got any poker chops with my stack. He knows I could easily do this move with any cards. Any 2 cards. A lot of my friends play penny games and terrible at poker and terrible at lying. Poker's not really about lying very much. Oh, well, shit, there's another easy decision. This time I've actually got some quality. Poker's not about lying that much. You do have to be careful not to give that many tells away, but, like, in movies and stuff, they always making it out to be all about crazy bluffs and all that kind of crazy shit. And that's not the situation here. I'm tempted again. At some point, someone's going to call it. Hang on. 50-50. Nope. I rolled low. I will fold this one. In movies, they're always about big bluffs and stuff, but that's not generally it. But there's still, you don't know how, like, the thing you're trying to hide then isn't, you're not trying to cover up a flat out bluff. You're trying to cover up whether you got a really strong or just a marginal kind of hand. Are you playing Pendante rules? Says Launchpad. Pendante is an interesting, it's a board game that's basically poker tweaked. It's not for real money, although I suppose you can. And the idea was to try to make poker a little bit more fun. Like, one of the complaints about poker is, well, most of the time you fold pre-flop. So you're not actually playing a lot of the hands. And actually, despite what the movies say, flat out bluffs are not something you want to do all the time in poker. But in Pendante, things are very different. I might have, well, I was 50-50 shoving on the queen too. The only reason I hesitated is because I shoved the last two, and it was that much more likely that someone was going to call the shove. Yeah, see, so I'm seeing this in chat. So this is, again, this is from a hand like 4 minutes ago. If you get a 6, you would have had a straight. So that sort of mentality is a very, very bad in poker. Generally speaking, when you muck your hand, forget about what 2 cards you had. Because, you know, it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, oh, I can't believe I folded. Oh, I had 7-3. Oh, if I'd kept my 7-3, I would have a full house right now. That kind of thinking is not smart thinking. Okay, now I'm gonna have to fold. The die was telling me I was gonna shove there. To a certain extent at this point, more or less any face card. So the queen suited, if it wasn't for the fact that I just shoved twice, I would have gone for it. But I probably should have. I think there's a lot of chats coming from before all my my shoves here. Yeah, it could be like, oh my god, the jack. Although you can't after someone raises, especially under the gun, which is actually interesting that all in didn't shove. That was really weird. But it is interesting. I would have shoved in this situation, even though it's worse than the queen suited that I had before. But again, well, this is great because I actually legitimately have a good hand here. But everyone knows I could be shoving with just about anything. Now I'm hoping, yeah, we get a couple of folds over there. Over here is quite interesting because all in is short stack. They're going to be incentivized to call with a fair amount of stuff. They didn't. I kind of actually hope to get called there because people wouldn't give me credit for having an actually decent hand, and it would have been in good position. 7-6 is really quite poor. It's connected, for whatever that means. I might still call here. What I might do, if Rock Cabbage does something I min raise, oh shit, Fan did it. Fan is early enough, I'm not sure, because the move would be just shove and hope they fold. Let's roll. The die says, now's the time. Let's do it. Now, it is interesting because Fan knows I'm going to have a pretty wide range here, but wasn't desperate right that second. They actually might give me credit. Both my cards are live, which isn't bad. 1/3 of the time, I'll still win this. Rebuy. I'm fine with that. I knew I was going to be substantially far behind, but is it going to open the table? I think it opens the table in a second. But yeah, I was totally groovy with that. Oh, just in time for a break. I'm back at the table with Jeff. Did Jeff rebuy, or did Jeff get moved to a new table? That wouldn't make any sense because none of the tables broke. I guess I can search. It's only going to show me the one. No, Jeff's still in their original buy-in. How come they got moved to another table at some point? I gotta change my hearts. Boop. There we go. Grip is considered one of the top players in the world. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, there's Poker Bras. So they got knocked. Or no, it's Cheese Bra that knocked out twice. But yeah, this is. Oh, can I? I wonder if I can sort this alphabetically. No. So this is sorted in order of bust out. So Cheese brought busted, rebought, and then was the next player to bust. I think is the way that happened. So I was the most recent player to bust out here in 46th place. What is happening with the display over here? Oh, I guess I can't open the replay screen because I haven't been in a hand, I guess, on this rebuy, right? This table or something. See, Kressler, well, 4 minutes ago said, if you make the correct decisions based on the info you have, you'll be rewarded. What actually happens literally doesn't matter at that point. And that's the thing. There have been plenty of times where, like, you know, I'll lose a hand or bust out a hand and then look at it afterwards and say, you know what? You know, even though you lose, you're like, no, I made all the correct decisions, and if I was in the same position, I would do that every time. And similarly, there have been hands where I've won and been like, oh shit, that was a mistake. I played that badly. And a lot of what happens in poker, and this is one of the things that I don't have the reads on people and their ranges and things to the area where I can do this, but one of the big things is, okay, so there's this much money in the pot, the bet is this much, so I have to call this much. So my odds of, like, my pot odds, what I have to call versus what's available in the middle is such and such a ratio or percentage, or however you want to break it down. And you have to say, in this position, this person could have this. Well, I beat these, I lose to that, and I think they have maybe in this position a 20% chance of bluffing. So you add all that together and you just have to say, well, I have to win from this position at least one every 3 times. And right now, I have to call, the pot odds are 1 to 4, right? There's, let's say, $400 in the middle. I have to call $100 more to stay in, so it's 4 to 1. Well, 4 to 1 is bigger than 3 to 1. Therefore, the correct thing to do in this situation is to call. And yeah, sometimes I will lose, but sometimes I will win. But over the course of thousands of hands, I will come out ahead if I keep playing these situations like that. That's the sort of thing that only comes if you are an actual active poker player, unlike me. So, see, and see, Ty, you're completely wrong. Strongly disagree. Especially short stack, there's no baiting the same way to be had. Well, I'm not going to call a raise with 4-8. Now, I'm still not deep stack because at this point the buy-in's not worth that much. Yeah, Matt Staples is a really good pro poker player. Really good pro poker player. You should play on PokerStars, says John. PokerStars didn't offer me a free tournament this time. Maybe I do play on PokerStars. Yes, I play on PokerStars mostly. Don't tell Party Poker. Or at least I used to when I played poker. I haven't really played poker in a long time. I like so all these little icons here, right? I think these represent, like, people on the Party Poker team, I think. It's not a good sign. Straight back to the table, just growth. I mean, now at least he's to my right. Although with a short stack like that, I don't like that the big stack of the table is to my left. Here's the thing. So remember, the person to your left, other than the very rare situation where I'm the button and he's the small blind, every other time the person, there's so many people with cabbage. Every other time they're going to act just after me, which means no matter what I know, no matter what I do, they will know what I've chosen to do, right? Whether I checked or bet or whatever. They will have that information when it's their turn to act, which is why it's a huge, huge, huge advantage. Wow. Full house versus full house. And, you know, that's bad. Okay, 6-5 off. No. This is pro table. We're on the featured table, baby. Actually, we might literally be. Again, if I go to, let me just see if I'm right about there. Well, they're not actually streaming. I wonder if they're on another channel. I thought there was supposed to be commentary. Maybe it's only going to be for the end of it. Maybe when they get to the final table. I don't know. I thought they were going to stream some live commentary with Maria Ho and someone else. I can't remember the name of the second person. I don't remember what my point was going to be. Okay, well, let's see what our bet size is going to be. All right, I'm going to bet the minimum. That is what the die of arbitration is called for. On a 1, I would have just called. I rolled a 3. So I was going to keep it. Yeah, I'll do the minimum bet, which does seem to be fairly typical here. On a higher roll, I would have just bet a bigger amount, just to add some variance. Well, if I didn't bet, it would be weird and suspicious. So I will bet. There's no real draws there. Yeah. I was like, maybe I just bet a third of the pot. I suspect there's virtually nothing I could have bet in that situation that Haymonia would have called. Unless they had a pair. In which case, they would have called my effectively half pot bet. I don't think there was a lot of range in there for goofing around. I don't feel... Well, okay, definitely not then. As I say, I don't think I want to defend my big blind with the Doyle Brunson here. The 10-2. And it became that much easier. Wow, hey! I mean, parties... Well, that's interesting. These guys, because they were short stacked, there was a big range, I was going to say, that they'll probably call with. Indeed, that's true. Middle pair, sort of, you know, crappy face cards. Cinnamon Party, if they had anything half decent, I think would have called there. I think I would have called it down to, like, at least jacks, if not tens even. And I probably would have called it with something like as low as ace-10 suited as well. Because the range that these guys are going to be making those moves with is fairly large. On the other hand, you know, against 2, it becomes a little harder. We're definitely not getting involved in this hand. That's fine. Easy decision. Yeah, Matt Staples is actually, yeah, crazy good player. Yeah, I'm a table full of sharks, and I am the fish. Well, that's true. Bob the Naked Mule also makes a point that some of what we're talking about with pot odds and things has changed a little tournament play. Again, most of what I do is cash games, which is also one of the reasons I think I play maybe a little too safe in tournaments here. One of the things, cash games, the blinds never go up, and people tend to sit quite deep. It's quite common to sit with 100 big blinds, if not more, in front of you at a table, which means any hand has the potential to get very big and very expensive very quick. And so there's a little bit more sort of patience and some slow kind of, careful poking back and forth. Where that's interesting that Jeff just... He hasn't shoved here. Whereas in tournament play, there needs to be a little bit more of a pedal in the gas. But that's one of the things. I used to play single table tournament where it was a lot easier for me to follow the flow in terms of when I didn't make certain moves. The multi-table tournament format like this, I think, tends to do this too much. I mean, early on, you do sort of play cash game, especially if they're slower blinds, but they're a little faster here. Oh, DGen as well? Where's DGen? Oh, Dramatic DGen. So DGen, Jeff Gross, Poker Bra, Matt Staples are all online pros. Jesus Christ. And I think Monia, I think this is they're on the party team. I think that's what that is. It doesn't actually like show me here, but I think I don't remember in my list here. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't like this table. Just down to 255, and he's almost all in. All right, well, we've got ace-9 suited in a good position. The question is exactly this. Well, okay, this is going to be a pretty easy call, I'm going to say, in this situation. It's going to be much harder for a big bet here to knock everyone out, although it's entirely possible. I'm still deep enough. The position means I'm on the button. I'm going to act last, so I'm going to get max information. And I've got a hand. If I just pair the ace, it might be a little scary, but it had some flush possibilities. Now, here, I think this is a decent option for me to try to scoop like this. It's not a stone cold bluff. I don't have anything right now, but my hand's got a little bit of potential. I eliminated Jeff Gross! Not much of a pot there, but this is going to be a fairly easy, I'm going to say min bet. I don't like the call from the button. So Torn Cabbage here is going to have position on me, so they're going to get to see what I do first. See, I have an ace, so I have to bet here for information. Actually, I should probably bet smaller. Now, if we flowing? Oh, Jeff's back at this table. Now, if Cabbage comes over to top, not much you can do. But, well. So Torn Cabbage just called. Here's the thing. I'm going to check. Because from their point of view, it's very unlikely that it didn't hit either the ace or the king. So if they're calling, they suspect that he doesn't have a draw. I'm going to put in a blocker bet. Looks like a value bet. If he shoves big here, I won't be able to call, because my ace is a very weak ace. Oh, wait. Sorry. Do I have the straight? Fucking hell. Of course I have the straight. Which actually, no, now this is a great value bet. It's funny, because I was sort of trying to do a value bet, like, oh, maybe I have ace king or something like this. But now it's perfect. Shove against me with your king. Fucking, I made the wheel. Oh, okay. Oh, he made 2 pair. I'm like, what? He made 2 pair. The thing is, if I just had the ace, I don't think I could have called that, which turns out it would have been good because I would have been beaten in that situation. There's nothing here. So the blocker bet idea is, the idea there was make a small bet that looks like just a value. Like I think I've got a strong hand. I'm just trying to extract a little bit more money out of you. It's not so much that they couldn't call with, like lots of stuff. It wasn't a bluff in terms of I wasn't going to get them to fold a better hand. But if I just checked, they might have bet at me with a better hand, like a better ace. I felt like with a little blocker bet, they may not have re-raised me with a better ace. If they were going to re-raise, it was going to be with a much stronger hand, like a much better ace, or something like 2 pair, which turned out to be correct. You're right back, Quill. Just your Hellenic State video pop up. Oh, did I make that live this morning? So funny that the funny thing is with that hand is I think I was happy with that bet, even like the straight or not the straight. I think the bet was effectively the same with my thinking, because I was almost, the bet was almost representing the hand that I actually had, even though I didn't realize I had the hand. That, see, for a second there I was level 0 poker player. Level 0 poker players don't even know what they got. I was level 0 for a while, and see, Torn Cabbage was probably so good that they played it because they played exactly right with 2 pair. There was no way to expect that I'd made the wheel. I mean, come on. Come on. If I was shorter stack, this might be just a shove. If I was later in position, I would open with a raise. This is a nothing. Oh, I'm just watching the wheel hand now. I can't wait. I'm just watching the chat. Yep, top pair. That's right. My ace 5 hit top pair. And I'm talking about the hand 4 minutes ago in the past from your point of view, but it's just happening now on the stream, and I'm watching the chat. Oh yeah, the replay window again. It was annoying that I couldn't do that earlier. So funny that I missed the wheel. But I mean, like, I had to go. I mean, I guess he rivered. The river screwed him, because Torn Cabbage might not have put any more money with just the king, right? I had the ace to his king. He wouldn't have called a big bet. That deuce on the river, which is just landing now. Waiting for the chat response. No one has noticed the straight yet. There we go. Now people are noticing it. Although only after I did the bet. But yeah, missing straights is probably the biggest thing with not playing enough, and it's that level of blindness. You know, that like aspect of like certain things I miss in video games. Spotting straights, especially like random inside straights that come out of fucking nowhere. That's gonna get missed. It's not gonna be the last one either. It's not gonna be the last one. There's gonna be a lot of missed straights. That's also the reason I play with a 4-color deck, because otherwise I'm gonna miss a lot of flushes. It's easier to spot the flushes with a 4-color deck. Had them both ways. Yeah, if the 2 hadn't dropped, I was going to win that hand. Unless, here's the thing, he might have been able to do a big bet at the end and scare me off because I had such a weak ace. That's the problem with weak aces. If someone plays back at you, you have no idea if you're way ahead because you've paired your ace, or you're way behind because you've got a shit kicker. Rip Dramatic Degen. Under the gun with queen suited. I mean, admittedly, it's only 6-handed, but no. If I was lower here, that would be a good shove. That would be good. You know, queen suited, 6-handed when you've got micro chips in front of you. That's a fine shove spot, but not here. Do 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 do. So we got a raise by Torn Cabbage and a re-raise by Cinnamon Party. Now, because it's a little short-handed, I think the range is going to be a little bit more. Someone probably hit something over here. Unless it's like pocket jacks versus pocket tens. Someone probably hit something over here. Now, Cabbage checked. Cabbage was the original raiser and then re-raise or anything like that. So I was going to say Cabbage doesn't have ace-king. Cinnamon Party is representing they've got ace-king, ace-queen. Whether they've got that or not, I don't know. Cabbage might have had jacks or tens there and folded it. Might have had something like ace-jack. I don't know. Might have had ace-queen. I don't think they would have folded in that case. I think we're going to call here. Or... I will call. I was going to say I'll shove, but he'll defend with a bigger range. So my fold equity is basically nothing. If I'd had any piece of this board, I would just shove now and make him make the decision for all of his chips. But I have like nothing other than, you know, 3 kings maybe as outs. It's too weak. Even if I paired the 3 there, I would have just shoved. Because while the pair of 3s won't win that often, there's the fold equity, right? Because if you raise, you can win the hand by having them fold, or you can win the hand by winning the hand. But there was very it's fairly unlikely that I could make him fold there. And it was very unlikely that I was going to win. Now, whether I should have called, I don't think. So again, re-raising on the button on the big blind there. I think if he was going to raise pre-flop, I think if I shove on the big blind, he just calls for his stacks. You know, maybe not with anything too strong, but I think I had pre-flop. I had basically no fold equity there. I feel. But I also felt like not defending the blind there would have been crazy, right? Probably, I think. I feel like there's something in there that I could have done differently, but I just don't know what it is. See, if I had like a poker tracker or something, this would be a good one. I would flag this hand for review later, and then at the end of your session, you go through, you check all your hand history, and you try to get a sense of how you did. Oh, that's like that board. Yeah, people were reacting to the 6, 7, 8, 9 double suited board between Matt Staples and Dramatic Degen. Oh, which results in Degen getting kicked out. I wonder if I had chat on screen. Definitely. I mean, I could do a big shove here and then try to like make Patience do a decision for all their chips, but it would be ludicrous. If I had something there like an ace 10 suited, like anything like vaguely strong, that would be a good one to do that, because I would be trying to tell these guys to fold. I'll threaten to go heads up with this guy who I can blow up. At this point, more than half a field has rebought. I mean, some people may not have rebought at all. In fact, I suspect some people haven't yet. King 9 from the no, not if there's an opening move. This would have been a good one, I think, to do a min raise and just try to steal. I'm not calling a raise with King 9 though. Yeah, you got to remember the round trip time, right? I say something, 4 minutes later, you respond to it, and then I respond to it immediately from my point of view, but it takes 4 minutes to you to see that response. So yeah, it does look like there's an 8-minute turnaround time with conversation. It's like having a conversation with someone on Mars. Actually, what is the latency on Mars? So it's 1.3 seconds to the moon. Mars, I know it's going to vary depending on the relative position of Mars and the Earth. But yeah, I don't know what the latency to Mars is. I'd like to know an answer right now, but I'm going to have to wait at least 4 minutes for someone to Google it for me. And yeah, some people are having a discussion in the chat about, like, how many hands should be playing. And the problem with that is that, I won't know whether people are talking about it who are total, like, fish, who just would play way too many hands or not. It's kind of what I wish. On PokerStars, I'm pretty sure you can get the table information to tell you, what the VPIP, voluntary put in pot, average for the table and for yourself at this table is. Hey, nice deal there. The die of arbitration. No. most people who don't really play much poker are way too loose. They play way too many hands. They stick in way too much. But also from my point of view is I tend to play like full cash table, so 9 or 10 people, and cash, where it's like the stacks are very, very deep, so you can't make as many speculative crazy moves. Because, like, for example, so what I mean by like deep in terms of like big blinds is usually how you look at it. In most tables, you sit down, you can have a maximum of make me sit down with 100 big blinds worth, which means if the blinds are say 50 cents and $1, you can sit down with $100. And that wasn't like that. Like, so it's a hand it's got $1.50 in the pot at the start, but you can lose. No. Nope. If it was a 6, I would have maybe done something weird there. Yeah, so it requires sort of a different play style. And the tournaments, you do have to jack it up. So we're at level 14. Level 16 is probably the last rebuy. And here I'm not looking to, like, take too many risks. If I were to rebuy right now for my last one, I would have, a third of the chips I've got. So Patience went on to King 10. I think that's fairly legit with the stack he's got. Looks like he's going to get stacked by Ammonia here with a pair of jacks. So Patient getting knocked out, assuming they still have rebuys available, though. They will be back because the timer's still there. 3-5 is a terrible hand to try to defend a big blind with. I probably can't defend at all with a 3-5 offsuit, which is annoying. I don't like to give up my big blind, but I mean, okay, we'll call it. We will check to the razor, and what we're going to do is we're going to re-raise. Because I don't want to give him an extra card to catch something else. Die says I should fire another bullet. That's probably too small, actually. That was a mistake. Or maybe it looks like I've got a really, really strong hand. I mean, I'm sort of representing the queen here more than the tray. No. And that's the problem with defending with a hand like this. See, I could have just not defended. The problem is, if on the turn, if I had just checked, I show weakness and he bets and I don't have any information. By betting out first, I get information when Cinnamon Party raises me. That's pretty much telling me what I needed to know. Because, I mean, I showed strength on the flop, I showed strength afterwards, and he showed even more strength back at me, he or she showed even more strength back to me, and at a certain point, I've got to respect it. Our closest point's 4 minutes to Mars. Well, there you go. Or maybe 20 minutes at the further points. It might be an average between 3 and 22 minutes. Excellent. So we're on a break here. I mean, so now the thing is, if Party or other people at the table who are paying attention saw that, I've indicated that I, will defend my blind more aggressively. On a table with a lot of good players who are taking note, they might take notes of that and be like, okay, I can't necessarily just assume I can steal Quill's blind for free every orbit. This is, but this is like, we're talking about level 2, level 3 players. If there's a sort of like level 1 players playing their hands in and of themselves, level 1 players don't really pay attention to what other people do, right? Level 0, you don't know what you got. Level 1, you know what you got. Level 2, you know what other people got. And so on. Level 3 is, you know that I know that you know that I know kind of vibe. So maybe I signaled, hey, I'm willing to defend my blind, and maybe I just wasted some money for nothing. Well, I didn't waste, because the moves at that point I'd had a hand, so it was okay, but do 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 do. Thank God. Do 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 do. We might be back in take slightly more risks range here. Because again, I've got a 50,000 chip buffer behind this. So in the next, well, by the time this break ends, the next 26 minutes of gameplay, I either want to embiggen this stack. I want to take the risks of embiggen this stack, or take the final rebuy. Patience won $300,000 in a 35k high roller yesterday. So Patience is another goddamn pro. How many? And I know they did like free roll a bunch of their pros here. Oh no, not red. That's not what I want. Is like, well, almost. Let's go orange actually. I like that. Because red I was using for like crazy aggressive players, and yellow is for like sort of standard. But I'm gonna go with like orange here as like, they're not going to play garbage cards, but they're probably going to play them like scary strong. Don't fuck with these people unless you're willing to put a lot of money in by either having a strong card or just be willing to take the risk out of things by just being like, well, I guess I'm going to go all in like pre-flop or on the flop, and then, you know, takes the decisions out of my hand. So people are just now responding to the that last hand where I had the pair of threes. Gamble more for Twitch chat entertainment. All right, game resuming. 3, 2, 1, go! I mean, he yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I could have bet 30k there. It's possible that 30k would have resulted in exactly like him calling, and then it goes like check on the flop or on the river, in which case I might still lose to, you know, his queen or something like that, or whatever he picks up on the river. I mean, I like a king, but here's the thing. It's 2 off here, and there's still a big blind behind me. I'm not going to defend with the king 5 offsuit in the small blind. Mostly because I don't have faith that I'll be able to play it correctly. It might have been a play for a shove here, actually. Speaking of, he would have called me with that. Oh, I'm going to make 2 pair! That's not how you play it. That's not how you play the game. Oh yeah, one of the tables is gone completely. Oh, maybe I should roll this to see if we're going to play it. Well, what I'm going to roll is to see how... Okay, I'm going to bet more than ×2 here, which the dice is called. It might look more like I'm stealing. Because the expectation here is on the button, you're going to try to steal the blinds with a wide range of cards. And the bigger bet versus the min bet is like, is he betting more because he really wants me to fold or not? There it is. I mean, that's going to happen a lot. I mean, the thing is, we know when you raise on the button, a lot of times you're just going to win the blinds. I didn't want to call and give the big blind like a freebie. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe I can sneak something. No. Just do that and hope he's thinking that he's stealing, and then he either calls, then there's more money in the pot, or he re-raises. 6. So we are... It's a 6. Yeah. If it wasn't a 6, that would have been a flat. But I rolled the 6. So I'm going to hide. Especially since we got the rebuy buffer. Now, if Nicky Mouse shoves... my best hope is that Nikki's actually playing a queen or jack. The fact that there's such a delay, I mean, either it's like a big, like, either it was a big, like, oh, I'm trying to be deceptive and make myself look weaker, but really it looked like it was a weaker situation, and they may have been trying to decide to call with something like an ace-queen, ace-jack. They might have had king-queen themselves, or, you know, like a middling pocket pair. This is a no. I'm so happy right now. Yeah, I love that everyone at my table, I'm just responding to what Dramatic Degen said 4 minutes ago from your point of view. Everyone at my table is a pro. It's good. That's good, you know? That's great. That means I probably have to play just more variants and be like, well, YOLO all in. You can't beat me with skill anymore if there's no more betting to be done. It's a defensive all in. I've said it before and I'll say it again. While it's nice to know, you know, you should know what you're good at, but what's maybe more important in life is to know what you're bad at, because then you can work around that. If you know what you suck at, you can work around it. If you know you're not the best player at a table, then you're like, okay, how do I remove skill from the equation? Let's do that. I kind of wish Party had done a had been a little heavier on the streamers and the non-pro streamers, and a little lighter on the pro streamers. But you know, what are you gonna do, huh? Holland, firsthand, this table's new. You meet in business. Hi from 4 minutes in the past. Hello from 4 minutes in the future, Silent Wolf. So, 23 minutes left to our ability to rebuy. So I'm still fine with being a little felted here. I mean, at this point, 50k chips ain't much, right? Coming back with 50k ain't much. So we'll immediately be short stacked again. Oh, now people are at the point where they're commenting on the, oops, I want this open, on my pocket king's hand. I mean, limp would have been so sus, right? Which is why sometimes you may have to do it. But like, if I'm on the button, if I have the ability to open on the button, what would I ever limp with? That isn't like me being sneaky with aces or kings. The die of arbitration says I should fold this. No, I don't want to get in these positions again, because my only move is shove. I'm not going to be out of position against a good player with an extraordinarily marginal hand. Like, I just don't want to. I could have done a re-raise there. Maybe it works some of the time. And here's the thing. I think if I was at a regular cash table, it would have been that. Again, here, same hand, even worse position though. Earlier raise, and there's someone to act behind me. That I don't even need to go to the die for. I just was at the point where I wouldn't feel comfortable playing king deuce out of position. I think a call there, like, there's defending. But here, I guess here's the thing. If these guys are all pro, maybe they noticed that I was willing to defend there. And I will want to, but I felt like that was really weird. That's why I'm going to use the die. Because I don't trust myself. No faith in myself. We'll just use the die. Yeah, there needs to be more aggression. It's so hard. It's so intimidating. Nope. Definitely not. Not even as a bluff. So we have 39 live players out of 97. Now, really, I think effectively only 43 people were ever here. So a lot of the rebuys have gone through. I'm at 21. So out of the 39 live players, I'm 21st in terms of stack size. Although everyone at the table here is pretty even stack sizes. Slot Spinner is definitely the short stack. And the big stacks over here at 160. I mean, yeah, they have 50% more than me, right? Monia, Staples, and Party over here. Oh, someone's gonna have a big one at the end here. All right, Nikki's gonna take it. She's to my right. I'm assuming she. I don't know. And which is better because I'll see their action first. Ooh. If someone raises ahead of me, we're gonna let this one. Okay, easy let go. If it had come to me, that would have been a raise. He was about to hit the blinds over here. And exactly the right thing to do, sort of an all-in with over there. Hoping to mostly just pick up the blinds and antes. And actually knowing that there was an ultra short stack there might have helped as well. This is not good enough in this position, I think, to start anything. Now, all the pros who might be watching me or have their audience watching me have a pretty good idea of my range of play, which is probably too conservative. But what am I going to do about it? The problem is if I open up my range, unless I do it with like really... I do something like I open up for like 5 big blinds instead, right? And I'm just trying to just take down the blinds all the time. But then at some point, someone with a better hand will call me, and they'll be so much invested that it'll basically be an all-in at that situation. Mm-hmm. Check out Quill. Oh, what did I say? What did I say? Gen Z internet slang. It's probably just an accident. Oh, sus. Oh! That's... I like Among Us! Yeah, let's do it. Bet size? Okay, we're gonna min. Just 7,000. Min raise. The die of variance, the die of arbitration. Of arbitrariness, I guess it is. Yeah, less arbitration, more arbitrariness? Maybe I should go with die of variance. I like die of variance. Yeah, and everyone knows I'm kind of tight, limited range. Am I only going to do this with like absolute utter premium hands? Like an ace? Well, I mean, if I don't c-bet over here, it's going to look really weird. Continuation bet, standard, half pot. Like, the only reason I'd check here is if maybe I had pocket aces and I was trying something crazy. All right, she called. I have an inside straight draw with nothing else. It's possible that she folds to a bet over here, but the queen makes it that much more likely that she might have hit something to stick around. Maybe there's a flush draw. I think I check. Hope that I pair my king or the jack, or somehow make an inside. The problem is, okay, here, is there... The only way I can... Well... As I say, the only way I can win here is with a bluff. You know what? We have a rebuy. I should have rolled the die first. This is gonna make... This is for you, Twitch chat. There you go. That's for you, Twitch chat. Oh, I can't wait to see this 4 minutes from now. I think I consistently give people way too much credit for what they've got. What's interesting is that, see, my check on the turn should have told Nikki, like, that, like, why wouldn't I bet on the turn? If I had an ace, wouldn't I have bet on the turn? If I had a queen, maybe it was like, am I being so cautious with my pocket jacks that I got scared by the second overcard? Like, what convinced Nikki that I had a hand despite checking on the turn there? I mean, I guess I've got to for pot odds, but Jesus Christ. Even here, I can't, like, an 8 is nothing. What I was doing there is calling for, like, some sort of crazy 2-pair that I could use to, like, bust a shit ton of people. It was the good pot odds with the huge implied odds of being in a pot with 3 other people. And, you know, taking down a pot that, like, doubles me up or more. I can't play with the 8. Not in this position. Not against people who know what they're doing. Oh, I can't wait for that hand. Hang on. Alright, we're, getting later in the tournament. I better bust out the red book. BRB, you guys. Let's figure out how we're supposed to play this game. Oh, making moves. Conservative style and slow playing. Oh, okay. Should probably try to use some of that. I should be watching the table instead of making jokes. I'm like, what is happening in this hand? I definitely have a bit of a fit or fold mentality, which is why I'm using the die to try to make it a little harder for people. Oh, hang on. I should reply to Draga's chair. Yeah, man. I got a much bigger stack than him. If Torn Cabbage wants to play this hand, he's basically he's going to shove or fold. He shoves, I can't call that, I fold. Did I just give away more money, though? How often is that going to work? I think that's probably going to still work fairly often. I mean, he was in desperation mode. He was definitely never going to call there. I guess I could have opened shove. No, I don't think I would have. Okay, well, we're not calling this. That's pretty easy. Where are we at here? Oh, the Jack King hand. Yes. Oh. Everyone in chat saying she has the ace. Oh, does she? Check it back. What? Why would I do that? Oh, Nikki's a guy. All right. Rip the dream. Whoa! Busted out on pocket tens. This is going to be a fold for us. Or is it? Oh, it is now. Okay. It's until the end of level 16. I think I still have, the 10 minutes. 8 minutes? What is the timer? Oh, it's because there's going to be a break. We're basically out of our rebuy range now. You had exactly 5 seconds. What, for the rebuy? How do we know? Late registration, is it not? Because it says late registration level 16. Oh, is the rebuy before this? The thing is, I don't like that there's no information on this page that tells me when the rebuy is no longer available. I assume it's the same as the registration, right? Late entries. A rebuy, I think, is on the same timer. So presumably, I still have 10 minutes for that. Red one early game? No, red one is the end game. Red one's volume 2. Volume 1 is the early game. We are down to 32 live players. Some people have burned through all their stuff. Yeah. Book 1 is Volume 1 strategic play. Book 2 is Volume 2 the end game. Nope. Stream's still looking good. Just worried with this 4-minute delay that like the stream will go down and I won't know right away. That's an easy fold. Slow playing probably the thing that costs beginner players most money. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, don't slow play against bad players. Bad players are just going to pay you off. It's going to be fine. Just bet your hand. For slow playing to really work, like, I either need like such a ridiculous monster that you actually have to give someone a chance to catch up, right? But that's really uncommon. But like, if you flop a full house kind of thing, or like, you know, you got a pocket aces and an ace drops, it's like you're gonna have to slow play it then because no one's got anything. But you have to feel like 100% you're gonna win the hand. Period. It's just about extracting more money. But most of the time, you're not in that situation. And so most of the time, slow playing tends to be a mistake because you're giving people a chance to catch up, and most people aren't sort of smart enough to kind of pick up on the details as well. The one exception becomes if you're like super high level, I know that you know that, I know that you know that, I know that you know that, I know that you know, and then you really have to disguise your hand against someone who you know will take a shot at you on a turn instead. But, you know. No. I mean, it is. We are definitely, you know, things. We're starting to feel it again. We're starting to feel it again, but that's not the hand. That's not the play. Torn Cabbage is going to be making some big moves with a fairly broad range of cards here, and yeah. After the time bank activation, I was very unsure about that. It is interesting that it took so long. You would have thought if Torn Cabbage had a really strong hand, it would have been a pretty quick shove, unless he was like slow playing that way to sort of hide the strength by just taking his time before making his move. All right, pocket fives. This is a good one to defend with. In fact, if there's a late raise, I might just shove. Now that's a really early raise by Matt Staples here. Who's a very good player. Like, early play like that probably means good hand. What else? I'm going to call and just hope we flop a set, and that's the extent of my play. There's 3 overcards. I don't see any way that I would make a shot at this. It would be an absolute bluff, and honestly, he's very likely to have hit here. We're basically going to fold to anything he does. We had, you know, like decent pot odds to at least take a look at the flop. There's absolutely nothing I can call here. if I was a better player, there may have been more that I could have done. And if that raise had come later, if it was over here, I might have just shoved instead of calling pre-flop. This was an easy fold, so we're going to do that. Yeah, blue. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that I can in fact rebuy in the next 4 minutes. I really am hoping I get in a position where I can try for a double up. Since we wouldn't downgrade that much if we rebuy, assuming we can rebuy. And we must. It's until the end of level 16. Level 16 is operating right now. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, 100k bet now is only 50k loss. And you know what? Maybe I should play the 5s differently. Nope. Would have been nice. Actually, I would have liked to have made a move here. Very much. But not after a raise ahead of me. Wow! Oh, diamonds? Oh, the second jack! Oh, brought cabbage. Damn. Ah. I was all ready to raise. I'm like, wait, why does it say 15? No, I can't play there. So then the question is, brought cabbage, are you still in? If so, you'd be at 50,000, right? Yeah, brought cabbage came back in. So if I busted in the next 3 minutes, I could rebuy. Should you rename himself to Mini Cabbage? Stick with the apparent theme. I know, right? Cabbage is slang for money, generally speaking. Right? Cabbage green. Sometimes also to sort of refer to bad cards, although I usually think of them as like rags. So I think that's why there's a couple of different cabbage references. Yeah, torn and brought cabbage. I think we're probably going to make a move on the next hand regardless. Even if someone raises in front of me. If there's just a min raise, we might just shove. Oh, fuck. Never mind. We get a break here. So that's it. Should I've done it last turn? I had shit hand. Like queen 8 off, queen 7 off, 9 deuce off. I'm tempted to have maybe on this hand here. I could have shoved here with the rebuy, and I sort of wish I had. I forgot the break was coming. I thought I had, 2 or 3 more hands. I forgot the break. That's, yeah, I would have shoved there. You know what? I'm gonna go pee real quick. Be right back. I'm back. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed that that I forgot about the break. I definitely would have tried it with the Queen 8 hand. I mean, I didn't want to play the Queen 8 hand, but there, you know, there's a certain amount of fold equity over there because Nikki could have been raising with a fairly wide range of stuff, and there would still be a chance to hit, unless Nikki specifically held Queen plus a real kicker as opposed to mine, you know, and have a couple of live cards. But we have, I don't know what the actual full registration was, but we have outlasted at least a dozen other players. Might be as many as 14 other players are now out. But we're still not in the money, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I think it's rebuy only, not add-on. Yeah, no, I think that's all. We do have a rebuy button over here, but I think it, yeah. It specifically says buy in, or sorry, rebuy and things. Okay. No, well, I should have rolled the die. Oh, hold on. We still have 2 minutes? Oh, did it pause the level during the break? Oh! Oh! Well, hey, here we go. Here's a good one. You know what? There we go. Hopefully my very tight conservative image wins us some chips. Nope. I really don't want a 10-3 in the blinds, because it's like, I really want to be in a position where I can just shove to defend my big blind, but come on! Although we do have one more minute of... No. See, if I just raise Torn, he could rebuy, so he'd probably be like reshove. Okay, because there's someone else to act, I can't do the thing here. Got 1 minute. The problem is now, if I do a shove, it's possible that the time will end. It's too bad this is taking so long. It's possible that the clock will run out before I can actually do the rebuy if other people are in hand. So I don't think we're going to be in the rebuy window anymore. If I was Cabbage here, I'd probably just, or one of these, I'd probably just decide to shove. That's a small bet. Yeah, with this little time, I think it's probably that. Okay. Blind's going up. Yeah, 31 players left, and yeah, no more rebuying. Oh, it changed colors over here. I bet you that's to indicate that there's no more rebuys and stuff. Let's try for a steal here. I should have remembered that Torn Cap. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to let it go here. I might have been willing to call almost something else.
It's whiskey and chocolate.
Hey, Baron. Oh, sheet. Thank you. Where's my window for this? Hey, Quill. Managed to find a new position at work, so here's that. It was a stressful as heck time, but the videos and streams really helped me chill out. So thanks, Quill. It says heartfelt thanks for being a positive force. Well, thank you very much, Baron. That's really appreciated. Thank you. Oh, there we go. People are seeing the A5 shove. Ah. No, I can't. Fucking hell. And at this point, like, when you figure in the antes, I'm about, like 10 deep here, which is not very long. More moves have to happen, but... like, under the gun shove with the 10-4, like... Because of... yeah. Especially since both Cabbage and Monia are probably quite willing to also shove with a halfway reasonable hand, most of which would be much better than a 10-4. Not much, but it's something. At this point, I'll happily take a coin flip against 2 overs. Whichever one just folded to me, which, I mean, I guess would be fine. Now I can't. I was so happy to just call the all-in from Nicky Mouse. Now I can't. Because there could be up to 4 different overcards. There could be a bigger pair. That hurts like hell. Okay, there's only 3 different overcards. But yeah, like, off. Well, it turns out it's sort of good that I didn't, just call Nikki, because I would have lost. Yeah, I don't like that Torn is behind me here. But I'm going to have to make a move. Ah, dominated. No. 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 The fact that I had only 1 live card was really unfortunate. There it is. That's the end of it. I think that was fine there. I think that move was perfectly okay. I mean, it was, as usual, it's everything that sort of leads up to there that was the problem. That was such a small stack. There should have been, I think, a few other places where it should have been more aggressive. I think that was fine. It was unlucky that we got in with 2 dead cards. And I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed that I couldn't play the hand with the 3s. It turns out I would have lost there anyway, but I would have felt much more comfortable calling the all-in with the 3s, because, well, then it would have been a nice coin flip instead of what I was like 22% or something like that, because my king was dead. So now I gotta wait 3 minutes for the chat to catch up, and then what we'll do is we're gonna raid Nicky Mouse's stream. The problem is, at some point, they borked this list that I'm supposed to use. And I actually don't know. Oh, maybe they did fix it. Yeah, there we go. It has been fixed. So, Nikki, we're going to raid Nikki because Nikki knocked me out. And I think I kept calling Nikki she because Nikki, but Nikki is a dude who is, I think, again, I think it turns out most of the people at my table here were pros. Nikki's got a massive stack. Just waiting for the catch up here. I'm getting to watch some of the previous ones. It's so funny because I know I would have lost with a pair of 3s, but I'm really salty that I couldn't do my my last hand with a pair of 3s. Because it would have been a much better hand to last stand on. I would have lost anyway. But I'm salty that I couldn't do it on the threes. So we're coming up on the end here. Oh, I think I just folded my three hand, right? I don't think I could have done pocket threes against two people. Maybe for the triple up. And honestly, I probably just should have played the threes anyway for the triple up. This one over here. It may have been even better to just play the threes there instead of folding. Much more likely to just lose outright. Okay, I'm watching the three hand now. I was so excited to shove with threes until there was the two all-ins in front of me. It's like, I don't know if you can call two all-ins with threes. Like, 100%. Two, I don't know if you can. I probably should. If it was like fives, I think I would have called the two all-ins and gone for the triple up. Yeah, if the threes had been in the rebuy period, it would have been an easy decision. It would have been trivially easy. Like, someone said good fold for the trays. I mean, some people are like, go for it. A lot of people say good fold, but you see that? Before the flop, people were saying, oh, you should have gone, go for the triple up. After the hand was decided, people are like, oh, okay, there we go. We're caught up a little bit. After the hand, people were like, oh, smart play, good play. And which I know, chat is going to be very results oriented, right? If I had called the threes and won, it would have been like, oh, you're so brilliant. I didn't. I would have lost. They're like, oh, you're so brilliant. Don't be results oriented. I think a threes I could have gone either way on the call. The problem is I was in that situation because of too conservative play earlier, and I should have, especially like honestly in the first hour, I think I should have been aiming to double up or rebuy in the first hour, if not first 30 minutes. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and raid now. I mean, theoretically, there's still some stream left. The deal is that we raid, but I'm not actually ending my stream, am I? You know what? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to put up a break sign. When it comes up, I'm gonna raid. Do the raid, say hi, congratulations, good game to Nicky Mouse. And then after the raid completes, I'm going to drop the stream and bring it back up without a delay. So after the raid, I will stream something else. We got a little over an hour to go. I don't know what we'll do, but that's going to be the plan. So I'm going to put the break up now. When I see it come up on the 4-minute delay, we'll raid Nicky Mouse, and then I'll drop the stream, remove the delay, and we'll come back.